Alright, and welcome back to my Nier Automata very hard guided walkthrough. And in this episode we are going to face what is arguably the hardest boss in the entire game. Oh yes, let's get to it.
So then, what happened to command?
Number 2, go! I can handle—
No! Number 4!
Activation of Unit A2 confirmed. Good morning, A2.
Who are you?
Tactical Support Unit Pod 042. This pod has been tasked with providing firing support for Yorha Unit A2.
I didn't ask for help.
Affirmative. No request was received from Unit A2. Rather, it was the final order from this pod's previous support assignment, Unit 2B.
Well, it's unnecessary.
Yorha Unit A2 lacks the authority to override this order.
Whatever.
Okay, playing as A2 hype. Back in episode 10 I talked about how important it was to acquire the wire program in Route B. So if you have to face the upcoming boss fight without the wire program, then you have my sympathies. That boss can be an absolute nightmare, and the wire program gives you an incredible advantage. Now don't get me wrong, the strategy I'm going to show you is by no means a cheese strategy. It still took me several attempts to beat this boss, but it's definitely more manageable with the wire program than without it. Okay, an annoying thing here is that each time you fail against the boss, you have to beat these 3 large machines again before you can take another shot at the boss. So what I'm going to do is to destroy 2 of them and then move back to the save point. So that way each time you die, instead of 3 machines, you only have to destroy 1 before you can fight the boss again. And trust me, you will likely need several attempts to beat this boss. Hegel, named after the philosopher of the same name, as you would expect. And this fight is tough, it's really fucking tough.
So much for Goliath class. That was over before it started.
Negative. Enemy machines remain in the area.
What the hell is that?
Alright, here's my strategy for taking this fucker down. First, use some enhancement items to boost your attack strength. Then aim for his head and use the wire program to launch yourself into the air. This way you can use the power of melee attacks when he is in the air. Be careful of the projectiles though. You see how this works? I already took down a third of his health. But now the real clusterfuck starts. Each orb will have its own attack, including massive amounts of projectiles and laser attacks that move around and up and down. And the orbs will also try to roll over you, and they are also blocking your view because they are pretty big. So this will really test your ability to make sense of what looks like complete chaos. Also ignore what A2 says about using berserk mode, because that will actually fuck you over. When he goes back into the air, use your wire program again. And if you have the evasion system, you can steer yourself a bit around projectiles if necessary. And hope that RNG is on your side and that you will get a lot of criticals. And remember that each individual orb has its own life bar, so you have to destroy every single one of them. However, the defeated orbs will not immediately cease their attacks, and they still have the ability to roll over you. The laser attacks are the hardest to dodge. They can be iframed, but that requires some precise timing and they move very quickly. So spamming dodge will likely get you killed. You can also jump over the lasers, but they can also move up and down. So yeah, it's a very tough boss fight. There's a lot to deal with all at once. One last thing to mention is the issue of fall damage. Other than hacking, that's the only other source of damage on very hard mode. And I did in fact took fall damage in this fight, but it's so low that it can pretty much be safely ignored. But just have a healing item ready just in case.
Alert. Oncoming EMP attack detected. Escape recommended.
Okay, once the hacking sequence starts, the fight is already over. This is just for story development. You cannot die in this section. If you get hit, you will simply reappear again. So don't worry, the grueling boss fight is already over. One thing though I need to mention about A2, and especially her backstory, is that I think it's a bit of a waste that they didn't do more with it. For the most part, her backstory is only revealed in text. Instead, they should have made it the content for the DLC instead of those worthless arena fights we got instead. I think it's a bit of a shame. I would have loved to have played through missions when A2 was still going by the name of Number 2 and actually experienced the things she went through. It would have made her a more likable character as well. Not that she isn't now, but she already came a bit out of nowhere because you only had one very short encounter with her before she became a playable character. So I do feel that they could have done more with A2, but I guess it was just not meant to be. No pun intended. Anyway, so as soon as you get through the hacking sequence, A2's first chapter is already to an end. So in the next episode, we're switching back to 9S. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back in part 15.
Normally you'd be called, but we'll be calling you 2B. Continue to observe the situation and dispatch them.
This is a fragment of Unit 2B's memory data. It is an order she received from the Yorha commander when she was still alive.
Not ready, number 2. We're all here. Supposed to be here. Thank you. Giving meaning to my life.
Enough!
Memory data recognized as belonging to Yorha Unit A2 herself.
Shut up and get out of my head already!
You and I are the same. We have no one to help us. We can only cry and scream.
Shut up! Just shut up.